question is only for you. Whichever you pick, you'll be the only person with that particular superpower. You can't have both. Which do you choose? I started wondering about this a few years ago. I bring it up at dinners, parties, wedding receptions. It was more fun to ask than where people work, and clearly more fun to answer. Like a magic word, Shazam. Flight versus invisibility would change the night's character. People answer so quickly, as if they've been thinking it over for a long time, just waiting to give someone a response. But what surprised me most, however, is that some people should not be superheroes. The obsession with superheroes is one that has transcended generation after generation. Dating all the way back to antiquity, it is a part of almost every human culture. But with superhero films dominating at the box office and comic book sales on the rise, we're forgetting that the reasoning behind most superheroes was to display the power of the human. Like David against Goliath, the everyman was supposed to conquer the super strong. This is an important part of our literary history because it teaches us to stand up to our fears and face the near impossible with courage and integrity. Many other programs have touched on this topic before, but most of them have centered on finding the superhero in all of us. This program argues that in a fight to the death, humans will win every time. Superheroes versus humans. Silence, Mr. Inc. The program has begun. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Good guys, bad guys, and explosions as far as the eye can see. And only one will survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Old Godzilla was hopping around Tokyo City like a big playground when suddenly Batman burst from the shade and he hit Godzilla with a bat grenade. But before he could make it back to his bat cave, Abraham Lincoln popped out of his grave and took an AK-47 out from under his hat and blew Batman away with a rat-a-tat-tat. But he ran out of bullets and he ran away because Optimus Prime came to save the day. Man, remember that show we used to always watch, man? Is that Batman show. You remember that? It was always like, you know, like it was kind of like a kapow kind of thing all the time. You know, it was like kapow everywhere, kapow. And I kept thinking, what if Batman tried to fight crime in my neighborhood? You know, neighborhoods are really needed. You'd be like, Robin.
Yes, Batman?
Didn't we park the car right here? One that was... Typically, this is how it goes. People who choose flight stop taking the bus. People who choose invisibility start sneaking into movies. But here's one thing that almost no one ever says. No one ever says, I would use my powers to fight crime. And I have to say, this drove me crazy a little bit. I mean, we are talking about supernatural powers. Why not bring down organized crime? Swear vengeance on the underworld, if only just a little bit. And so I tried to devise a number of scenarios along these lines, such as, how would you handle a mad genius whose henchmen have taken over the Empire State Building? This is when I learned that not everyone should be a superhero. Well, the first thought that occurs to me is that I would sneak up on them really low, like with a knife, and I would slice their Achilles tendon. No, what I would do is I would take like some socks or something and I would shove it in their mouth so they couldn't scream out, and then I would tape it all around their heads. I guess it really doesn't have to be socks. It could be like napkins or something. This is a lot of stuff. I'm gonna need a bag to carry everything. You know, knives, tape, socks, things like that. As Stan Lee, creator of Spider-Man, once said, I think if I was a superhero, there's no way I'd wear a mask. I mean, I'm a show-off. I want everybody to know who it was. There's no way I'd wear a silly costume either. But there had to be some sort of Death Star canteen, yeah? Like a place where Darth Vader could go down in between battles and say things like, I will have the penny a la burrata.
You'll need a tray.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
This is not a game of who the fuck are you? For I am Vader, Darth Vader, and I can crush you with a single thought, with the force which is strong within me.
Well, you'll still need a tray.
I do not need a tray to kill you. Though I could kill you with the tray if I so wished, because I would hack at your neck with a thin bit until blood flows across the canteen.
No, you'll need a tray because the food's hot.
Oh, I see, the food is hot. Thought you were challenging me to a fight to the death. Darth Vader, people are always challenging me to a fight to the death. Darth Vader. Sir Lord Vader. Sir Lord Baron von Vaderham. The Death Star, I run the Death Star.
What's a Death Star?
This is a Death Star. You're in the Death Star. I run the Star. I'm your boss.
You're Mr. Stevens.
What? No. Who is Mr. Stevens?
He's head of catering.
No, I am not Mr. C. I could kill Mr. Stevens with a thought. I could kill catering with a thought. I could kill me with a thought. You know what? Fuck it. I'll get a tray.
Angels sang out from an immaculate chorus, and down from the heavens descended Chuck Norris, who could deliver a kick which could shatter bones into the crotch of Indiana Jones. Then Gandalf the Grey, and Gandalf the White, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail's Black Knight, Benito Mussolini and the Blue Meanie, Cowboy Curtis and John B. the Genie, Robocop, Terminator, Captain Kirk, Darth Vader, Lopan, Superman, every single Power Ranger, Bill S. Preston and Theodore Logan, Spock, the Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan all came out of nowhere, lightning fast, and they kicked Chuck Norris and his cowboy ass. The battle raged on for a century. Many lives were claimed, but eventually, the champion stood. The rest saw their better. Mr. Rogers in a blood-stained sweater.
I believe that comics are our last connection to an ancient world. This town has seen its share of disasters. I watched the planes, watched them crash, watched the aftermath of the fires. The whole time, I watched the news, waiting to hear about somebody sent here to protect us, to guard us. Never came. What I realized is that you are the real heroes. See, life doesn't fit into little boxes that were drawn for it. So, who chooses flight? Who chooses invisibility? They both speak to two very different desires, two subconscious fears. See, flight is the hero, selfless, competent. And invisibility is the villain. Almost everyone I spoke to called invisibility the sneakier of the two powers. Yeah, flight's for people who want to just let it all hang out. Invisibility is for sneaky, crouching masturbators, basically.
Well, I think one is about something that's obvious, and the other is about something that's hidden.
What do you mean?
Well, I think the kind of person who chooses flight clearly has nothing to hide, whereas the person who chooses invisibility wants clearly to hide themselves.
Do you want to hide yourself?
I'd like to think that I don't really want to answer that question.
In the end, it's not a kind of question as to what person flies and what person fades. We all do both. Perhaps that's why when I put the question to myself, I'm completely and hopelessly stuck. Because at the heart of this decision is the question I don't really want to face, which is, who do you want to be? The person you hope to be? The person you fear you actually are? Don't rush into it. Think it over.